Greetings. How y'all doing today? Today is Monday and the moon is in the final degrees of Leo and heading to Virgo at like 2 o'clock California time, Pacific Standard Time. I wanted to come in and talk about how I use astrology and how I support my clients in understanding their astrology and then actualizing it in their lives. I think it's really important for us to understand that because we live in an energetic-based system and energy is invisible, we are under the influence of things, whether we think we are or not. Just like you are being held down by gravity, but you don't feel that, you didn't have to do anything to make that happen, your astrology is impacting you. And even people who don't believe in it, that's in their astrology. And the reason why I think this is so important, why it has been important for me, is because I could not find a way to assimilate into our culture. I always felt like an outsider. I found myself very frustrated and disappointed because the things that the culture encourages us to do never worked for me. So there was a tendency to feel like something was wrong with me. And so I started studying. I started studying religions and I was really looking for myself. I was really trying to find who am I and where am I and what's going on in this world that, relationships don't work, that, going to school and getting good grades don't work. My family doesn't work. Nothing worked for me. And at some point, it didn't make sense to me that I would be in a reality and nothing would work. And that's supposed to be it. It didn't make sense for me to just spend my time suffering. And even though I was suffering, I always knew that there was something more than the suffering. I was just there's got to be another way. And so studying, find astrology, and bingo. Literally, I found the golden ticket. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I found the golden ticket. And it was understanding my astrology. And the work that I do with my clients, individual clients, and the work that I do with myself is helping us understand the weather in a practical, everyday way through understanding our astrology. So for instance, when I was young, I was very deeply yearning for marriage and relationship. I remember at 14, I used to just dream of white dresses. I just wanted to be a bride. Now I get it, but there was a time when puberty hit, that's all I could think of. And literally I became sexually active, and I just thought that I was going to get married. So everything in my life became about trying to get a man to marry me. And after I was married, divorced, when I started studying astrology, I realized that I have a South Node in Libra in the 7th house, which means marriage is not the center of my reality. Relationships are not the center of my reality. So because I was so marriage driven, everything in my life was subtly and externally about meeting someone and finding someone. Maybe I'll meet somebody here. Oh, maybe this is the one. Oh, everything in my life was about that. And when I realized that I have the South Node in Libra, that's not going to be my life at all. I had to completely change trajectories. I had to change my mind. I had to change my way of being. And it took a lot of work to do it because I had been profoundly committed to this idea of marriage. So I have the North Node in Aries, which meant my Dharma was about me in the 1st house. It was about me being true to myself. Well, if all I'm thinking about is trying to get married, I have no idea how to be true to myself. I don't even know what the fuck being true to myself means. So now I have to go on a long journey to explore what does it mean to be true to myself because I have the North Node in Aries. So I go into an open relating community. Like all of us now, I'm like, I'm not going to be focused on getting married. I'm going to be focused on just seeing who I like and why I like them and what I like. And so I was in an open relating community for 12 years, which was the funnest fucking experience I've ever had. Because when you give people like free reins around how they can relate and who they can be, it is a character analysis of the human experience. I think one of the funniest things I learned in that community was what men do when they don't have sexual bounds placed on them anymore. I would literally watch men come into the community, and it's a community of, hundreds of people who are doing spiritual practice together, who are doing work on healing and letting go of the idea of ownership. So men would come in and I would watch them literally sometimes fuck everybody. It was an amazing thing to witness. It was like, and to watch them, who men become when they are sexually satisfied. Who are men when they are not hungry and having to spend time figuring out how they're going to get the sex that they need. It's not even that they desire, that they need, because it's a biological function in front of them. And so I used to watch men lose their minds. It was the funnest thing literally, it's the funnest thing I've ever witnessed. Watching a man have access to women who are saying yes. They still have their partners, like there's not lying, and it's just like, the psychology is profound. So I went in an open relating community. I explored other religions, and I just started doing things to help me to see what really is real for me, because my Aries North Node in the first house says, this is all about you. Do whatever makes you feel good. And there was a time when I thought I really wanted to have a television show, be like Oprah, right? And I got into an experience, and we were producing the show, and I was doing the show, and I was like, this isn't it. Like, I thought this was it, but this isn't it. So I just spent a lot of time exploring and finally landed in that my work is to assist myself and other women in waking up to their true power, to their magic, to remembering their original codes, their connection to the God presence. I went through so many things before I got to that, though. But the point of this is that before, I would have just been in pursuit of relationships, and I would have left every relationship thinking something was wrong with me and then just moved on to the next one. But it was my astrology that said no. Because I have a Pisces rising, I know that my imagination works like today is Monday and tomorrow is Tuesday and the next day is Wednesday. My imagination works. So I don't spend time imagining or thinking about things that I don't really want to happen. I used to be in anger with people and upset, and I would be imagining all sorts of bad things, and I don't do that anymore because my imagination is real. I get it now. When I imagine something, it's coming. I also know, because of my astrology, because I have a Virgo sun and a Gemini moon, my words come into existence. But I would not have known that if I didn't have the astrology in the way that I understand it. I would have understood it through some sort of negative, scary experience that we have been conditioned through in the Western world. My words work like God. God said, let there be light. When I say let there be something, it happens. And I'm very clear about that. So I just want to encourage you all, if you want to sit with me and begin to learn how to use your astrology, I'd be happy to do that for you and with you. I have clients. I'm going to start sharing some of my clients' experiences of the work. But if not, just learn how to be yourself, because there is a code, and it's your natal chart. And it will help you be yourself. And you will have so much more happiness and peace because you will begin to function. Like dogs don't climb trees, but many of us think that we're supposed to be this kind of way. So we do things that we're not meant to do. And dogs need to have freedom and have owners, right? And they're happier that way. So your astrology will give you the information that makes you happier. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.